brought it up.
Says you sound like that.
But
I remember the winter of '97.
oh, yes.
That wasn't any better.
And see, actually, it was on Mom's birthday, and she probably knew that and said that once in a while, but I didn't catch it until yesterday, and well, it started the second, you know? And I go, oh, no wonder she remembered that so well.
I was gonna have a party, and I couldn't.
Yeah, not exactly your ideal of a birthday present, I bet.
Not an idea, no. But I know Marv remembers it quite well.
What, the blizzard of '66?
Yeah.
See,
Oh,
you
yeah.
didn't even have to say the year, you knew exactly.
He-
what
He was on it.
March 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
We got a good rundown on it there, yeah. Yeah, Dad had you outside, didn't he?
Dad wasn't home, he was 12 miles away, he had to walk in after 3 days.
Oh, no.
12 miles he had to walk, well, he only had to walk 8, and then we picked him up with the horses, brought him in. Yeah, it was over the top of all the corrals. Cattle could go wherever they wanted. The snow was hard.
Snow was really hard, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it blew in cold.
Was anybody heard from Gene, or is he not gonna be here today?
Haven't heard.
I just think he might be in with the state's attorney meeting.
Okay.
She's
Oh,
not
he
here
was
right now
out,
either.
he was out in the hall here
Mhm.
just a bit ago.
We were trying to find the water tank, we had to shovel down 4 feet to get to it.
Gee.
And while we were shoveling, here come this bull walking across the top of the snow, you know, it was up here, we're down here shoveling. And he was looking around, all of a sudden, poof, he fell through the snow. 2 feet were on one side of the corral and 2 feet were on the other, and he was on his belly. And it was snow up to his chin, so all he could do is shovel a big hole in front of him and try to roll him down in there, so he rolled, so he wasn't straddled on that, he would have died up there. And, so then he falls into this hole, but there's no place for him to go because that's all we had shoveled. 5 feet all the way around him. Yeah, it was a good storm. And we ran a rope from the house to the barn. It's like the olden days. Of course, it was the olden days. Were you here yet?
Oh. I was just telling Wayne, I said, it was 10 years before my parents even met. Do we wanna grab them, or do we wanna?
We should start the meeting at 9, that's the rules, but.
Yeah.
You're the vice.
I'm vice.
Yep.
I'll, call this, meeting of the Mercer County Commission to order. Is there any, changes to the agenda?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to ask on the bottom of tax and financial software to the agenda.
Tax and
Financial
finance.
software.
Anything else?
No, sir. Morning, Captain.
With Gene back in the room, we'll turn the meeting back over to Gene. We added tax and financial software for number 4 on other business. We're just going through the agenda.
Okay. Sorry about that. So where you at on
That's
the?
it?
So we added tax and financial software
Yep.
to the agenda. And otherwise, I'll move to approve the agenda as amended.
I'll second that.
ask for all in favor?
Roll call.
Roll call.
Okay, who made the motion?
I did.
Marvin?
No,
Okay, Travis and
Yeah,
Marvin. Okay. Travis,
I,
Marvin,
Aye.
Wayne,
How about I?
Liza,
Aye.
and Jean votes aye. Minutes of, the February 17th meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I would, I gave you guys all a group of papers, please don't shuffle them again. But I gave you some corrections to the minutes that were stated at that meeting, and I want our minutes to include this information. My motion, was read verbatim at that meeting, I have a copy of it here. And also farther down on the fund activity, I made a statement, and it was read again verbatim, and the minutes do not reflect what occurred at that meeting. And the action that was taken, that I chose not to accept those reports. So, Mr. Chairman, I move that we correct our minutes to include the information I present today in red.
Okay, you making that a motion?
Yes,
That
sir.
you amend the minutes
Not
to,
to admit, yes. Okay,
that you amend the minutes to reflect your additions?
correct.
Do I have a second to that? Do I have a second to the motion to amend the minutes? Do I have a
Mr.
second?
Chairman, I disagree with your word amend. I'm not amending the minutes. I'm including information that was presented at the meeting. Because we can only put in information, we can amend the draft if you want to use that. If that's what you meant, that's fine. But this is
Yeah.
Yeah, and the motion that I made at that meeting read, I move that our 2020 revenue and expenditure reports and trial balance reflect the treasurer's report of 2020 for the building fund. That is what I read verbatim on my motion at that meeting. Motions need to be recorded properly in the minutes. They are not.
I understand your concern. The minutes are presented to us by the auditor, and if there are changes, then we amend the minutes to reflect those changes. And in doing so, we have to make a motion and second that motion to amend those minutes. And that's right now where we are. So are there any other, I'm asking for a second on that amendment. And that being the third time I ask for it, that motion dies, so we have the original minutes as presented to us by the auditor. And do I have a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
I'll move to approve the minutes as presented.
Do
I'll
I have-
second that.
Is there any other discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I want to put it on record that I disagree with this. I will vote no, and that our minutes do not reflect accurately the motion that was made at our previous meeting.
So noted. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Travis, how do you vote?
Aye.
Liza?
Aye.
Wayne?
How about I?
Marvin?
Nay.
Jean, aye. Review and approve bills. You're here at every meeting, I gotta get to know your name, and I ask. Instead of going, hey, you.
Shanna, this armor, is that an annual, contract? Did we?
Is that the $26,000 one?
Yep.
That's the computer rotation schedule. That's the, you know, you have 58 computers on a rotation, and every 4 years, everybody gets a new
Okay.
computer.
Okay, oh,
But
so,
it's a yearly bill, but yeah, it's our computer rotation.
so it's really the computer rotation and,
Yep.
yeah, okay.
I believe there's 9 or 10 computers
How many years is that rotation?
every 4 years.
Yeah. Oh, 10, yeah.
And that's just a portion of the computers get
Yeah.
rotated through?
Yep. If you try to, like, the sheriff's department for sure on a rotation, because their, squad car computers are so expensive. So you need 3 a year on those. And then everybody else, like it's countywide, so.
It's every department,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And once again, if any commissioner has a bill that they want to discuss, point it out so I can set it aside. I'm gonna sign them as they come to me. Even though they're not approved yet, but we can definitely pull it.
Okay.
Geez, Dan, you got a lot of bills in there.
Yeah.
That's why he's smiling. I don't know, Shanna, we got, I think a double bill here for sundry crushing and gravel. And they look like they're exactly the same bills. There's 2 of them. Help me out. Yeah, there's royalty there. I'm trying to find this number is here.
Yeah, cause you gotta pile more.
Okay,
Got it?
got it.
I knew there had to be
Something like that.
something going on.
Did she forget to put it off on this one? Try and put it in order so I don't catch that.
And tell her she's gonna catch it from you, then.
What's that?
I said, I told her she's gonna get some flack.
Oh. No,
Oh.
that'll be the first
Is
one.
that right?
Yeah.
I was here and even late for this meeting.
When I read it at first,
Why?
like,
I think that's what it is.
Probably
Mine showed ahead.
like,
Feed one.
great big
Yeah,
ones.
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's 2 minutes ahead.
Yeah.
That only the county still uses.
Yes.
See? The official clock is 2 minutes ahead.
It's still official.
That's right.
You used the wrong word, you used the word official.
So I looked at my cell phone and I go, wow, I got a minute yet. Go to run to the potty.
On these credit card bills, Shannon, are we paying sales tax? On some of the bills that came in, it's a small amount, but we're not supposed to pay sales tax, right? I think I looked in this one sheet, I looked at one of them. Thought I saw sales tax on there.
There was a foreign transaction fee I saw on there, but
Where'd you go to sales tax?
Sales tax, 30%, yeah.
No one she doesn't get. Let me see what I get. Oh, what is the cell phone bill? Well, I think you still have to pay the telephone tax, though. That's every cell phone, everybody.
yeah, I don't know how you would get rid of that on the sales and use
Not
tax.
on phones, you have to,
Yeah, the state does, I know.
yep.
State subsidies it.
Yeah.
Okay.
On this sand and gravel deal, the work was done in 12/4. Why are we paying it in 21?
Well, Ken's here, if you wanna get him, if you wanna ask him.
Well, I'm asking, who paid the bill? Why wasn't it paid in 12/4?
We only pay bills as we get them, so those were delivered plans.
We didn't have enough money to pay for the whole bid, or for, at that time, so that's why we rolled it over into this.
I thought we brought that up in December.
We discussed that in December, didn't we?
Yep. And there's a note on it too, if you look further into it, Mark.
I'm pretty sure I explained that to you before, Mark, too.
Look on the next page, Marvin.
I will, I'll look at that.
I remember us talking about that.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, you do. I need to have one of those heads up things that shows all the faces and their name.
And those are popsicle stick with the bubble above their head. You can hold it for easy.
Have to have them hold one when they walk in. They used to be,
Yeah, there's that. I don't know if you can get it on that.
we used to have a gym. Right?
You can, really good guy.
Jim Helpers, yeah. There you go. There's like 3 of these.
It's expensive for fingerprints.
Nice. I still the old school one in my office. Where you remove your fingers.
Press hard.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
don't smudge them.
Morning, Jessica.
I'm assuming we don't pay on the decimal.
What?
On my decimal.
Oh. I would have to go up a note. Got around it.
Got 1/8 of a penny that's gotta go somewhere.
Yeah, I'll have to bring up the chopper and see if we can chop that sucker up.
$0.56. 56, 58, huh? Ooh.
Yeah, yeah, he's just
Okay.
looking over
Oh,
the RFPs,
okay.
as if I am too.
Is that it?
Is it
we-
there? You gotta raise your hand when you're done down there, boss.
Yeah, everyone's pretty quiet.
Yeah.
I'll wave the flag.
Okay. Okay. Any questions on the bills?
I have a question, but I'll wait till after the second for discussion.
Okay. Need a motion to approve the bills?
I'll move to approve the bills as presented.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Yes, Chair, or fellow board members, I just want to let you know, I am going to disagree with approving the bills. And the reason is that I disagree with paying 2020 bills in 2021. That's all.
Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Travis?
Aye.
Liza?
Aye.
Wayne?
Oh, and I,
Marvin?
Nay.
Jean? Aye. Okay. 4 more minutes on the official clock. CARES funding to cities and police contracts. I've talked to all the cities, which is Golden Valley, Zap, Stanton. You'll have to let me know if I say the wrong one, because I'm also ahead of myself here. They would, and there was a commissioner here that made mention of maybe we, instead of writing them a check, we could do some kind of, like, don't bill them for the next 9 months or give them a discount for the next 9 months. And they're okay with that, whatever we decide. If we wanna just, can we just do it for free for 9 months, or do we have to have like some kind of
I don't know the
financial?
exact numbers, but, we've got underlying contracts, some of them are quite old and whatnot, I don't think we need to do that. I think if you guys make a motion to approve that, the next, and every billing or whatever that goes out, Shanna can make that notation or whatever, and we can track it that way. I actually don't bill, they just send their monthly check-in, because that's just how it's been done for so long, but they make a motion, I can just send them a letter saying that it's waived for these months.
For
or
this month,
whatever.
that month,
Right.
and, okay.
And that, you know, payment goes back into effect on this date. Yeah, right, if you just figure out the numbers and the date, and then we can just notify them that it's been approved.
What amount are you refunding? Total amount?
Well, they pay $11.85 a month, each city does.
I think what we're talking is their contracts for 14.4 a year. And then my understanding would be that we divide that by 12 and take it times 9, because we got reimbursed in CARES funding for 9 months. I keep looking at Jessica and the audit, okay. To make sure I get the,
$11.85 a month, so, and, you know, we got CARES refunded to our, money given to us for law enforcement for 9 months, so I think it would be fair to give them 9 months of law enforcement, since they paid from March to December last year when we were reimbursed for all that time.
So-
We're at the beginning of March now, so it worked out.
if that's answering your question, Marvin, it'd be for 9 months.
Okay, I have another thought that I'd like to share with the board. I don't disagree with that, I like your logic in it, I see it. Just for consideration, so we look at other options though, I looked at the total sheriff pay, the youth bureau, and the task force, and that total bill is 2.275 million. And the CARES that we received was 1.204 in 2020. So if you divide the CARES money by the law enforcement, it comes out to 53%. We received 53% CARES money as compared to our total bill for our law enforcement. So we could also consider possibly sending them a check for 53% of what they paid in 2020. However you guys choose to do it.
I think possibly where some of your numbers come from on that is that this was just for licensed peace officers, it wasn't for the other staff members. So I think that may be where some of the numbers may be a little different in this, because they only have a certain amount of licensed peace officers, but yet the sheriff's department has a numerous number of employees that aren't licensed peace officers.
Right, there's different underlying agreements as it relates to, youth bureau and task force, separate from the state
Actual
law
line duties.
enforcement. Yeah,
Peace officers.
right.
Yep,
The city policing is specifically what we're talking about.
correct.
Yeah.
Right.
Where you have your field licensed police.
Right.
Okay. Thanks, Liza.
I guess at this point, I would move that we forego the next 9 months of the fee to the cities. And if we, well, I'll just move with that and then I'll have discussion.
Or go the next 9 months.
The next 9
of
months.
these cities.
Correct.
In the cities you're indicating are Golden Valley, Zap, and Stanton, correct?
I was
Correct.
just gonna say.
Sorry.
Do I have a second to that motion?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, just,
I have some discussion. You know, I think this is great. This is kind of what the CARES was for. The CARES money was, they found a way to help counties and cities, for tax relief, and they used law enforcement as the avenue for that. You know, Marv brought up a great point. We can always look into that further and revisit that, but I just wanted to get, this portion of it taken care of, and then we can have further discussion on that either today or at a different meeting. But I think the biggest benefit would be for those cities to get the next 9 months of police coverage, basically because the city, or not the city, the county got the CARES funding, and it's kind of our way of saying, you know, here's our portion back to you.
and it's your understanding we can do that. Okay? Any other discussion? Okay, hearing none. Can you repeat the motion, so to speak?
To forego the next 9 months of fees to the cities of Golden Valley, Zap, and Stanton. Can we put in there policing fees?
Yeah.
Okay, so forego the policing
The
fees.
next 9 months of policing fees to the cities of Golden Valley, Zap, and Stanton.
Okay. Any more discussion? Let's still leave it open for some more. Hearing none. Travis?
Aye.
Liza?
Aye.
Wayne?
How about aye?
Marvin?
Aye.
Jean, aye.
Never
I
wrote
was
your names
stuck on
down,
your- I was
never
stuck
wrote
on
your
your
names
name.
down your side there.
I know, I
again.
was stuck on your name. Okay, Jean, aye. All right, 9:30. Temp use permit, Stratacorp. That should be in our packet somewhere.
Should be this one here.
Is it this one?
I believe so.
Okay,
Shoot.
this is an application from Strata Corporation for temporary use permit number 567. It's for portable crusher and screening operations to stockpile material on site and imported material. It's located in the southwest quarter of section 26, township 144, range 84. It's owned by DLG Investments. It's a renewal, and the restrictions would be work limited to daylight hours. The conditions attached would be area disturbed under this temporary use must be reclaimed by applicant and must be approved and released by the county road superintendent. The haul road must be approved and released by the county road superintendent. The permit holder shall control weeds in an acceptable manner during the time this permit is in effect. Dust control in the permit area and contact county road superintendent. As I put in your guys's, I had emailed it to you guys that there was a request from Dwight Berger to postpone it until he can be here about his, that he had a complaint last fall. It was my understanding that that had been taken care of, but when I did watch the video from last fall, you guys, some of the commissioners had said it would be revisited when it came to renewal. But I have talked to Brad Seifert, and he says the weeds are under control. Ken and Eric and those guys did go out there, and they say that the road is fine, that there maybe could be some more gravel put on there, but they did close out the haul road agreement last fall when he closed out the haul road agreement and said the road was fine. So as far as me being the enforcing agent on the formal complaint, I don't know how you could what there could be to stop the renewal, so I don't know if you wanna talk to them from going out there, when they just went out there this morning, so.
Well, the formal complaint last year was closed and resolved because
As
the
far,
department and the weeds went out there, it was resolved. If I recall, you guys were gonna revisit those issues to make sure it was still maintained, but there was not a pending complaint anymore.
not as far as I know, but I didn't know why they were gonna revisit it with this.
I think to make sure it's still under control,
Oh.
but last year you closed that complaint, right?
Yeah, as far as, yeah.
So, okay, just to be clear.
Okay,
Yeah,
I've
Mr.
also talked to the, our weed board, and he felt all the weeds were under control also. I don't think Ken had an issue out there.
No, just like Jessica's right, because at the time, they were still using the pit straddles. And then, that the haul agreement was still in effect, and then, I don't know, I suppose September, October, I can't say the exact time, but they contacted me. They put the gravel down, and we bladed it, laid it out, and billed them for the time, that we were there with the motor grader. So, at that time, that's when the haul agreement was ended. They haven't been on there since. So after this gets renewed, if they go back in there again, Nick or Strat will have to get a hold of, set the highway department, do another haul
Okay,
agreement. Revisit the road prior, like we always do, and if it needs, actually now, it's not, it shouldn't be on their dime, it would be on us, Eric was out there this morning to look at it, and there's a couple spots that the road's so hard too, and we have to put a blade on it. Hasn't been bladed this spring yet, I guess. It's still hard.
So that was my concern, I guess, or my thought was that it should be bladed. There's some bald spots on it, but that could be just compacted gravel. So, talk to these guys and they're gonna blade on it tomorrow, probably, as soon as tomorrow, and it just has washboardy too a little bit, so.
Okay, so they've not used it since last fall, so this would be just normal,
Right.
like we're seeing across the county for
Yep.
spring maintenance sort of stuff. And so the plan would be to get it back up to par before they get going again, and then working with them with the home.
Exactly.
Right, okay.
And Eric also didn't see, like, Dwight had said something about snow laying in there, and Eric does not see a problem with the way that road is crowned either, that wouldn't be a strata, a fault of stratas either.
Mr. Chairman.
and I went out there this morning and looked it over, and, yeah, I absolutely see no issues. The road actually looks really good. I thought it was. good.
I would like to ask somebody from Strata a question.
Sure.
Would you please come up to the mic, please? When people comment from the galley, they actually should come up to the mic so we can get it recorded on the video. And the public can hear what's being said, that's all. What's your first name, please?
Nick Swenson.
Hi, Nick. My name's Marv. I have to write your name down because I'll refer to you again, and just like, well, there's an age thing, so, Nick. Nick, I'm not sure what the past complaints were, all that was valid for this meeting, because I think those were all taken care of. My question for you is that the permit, and I'm not trying to, just a question.
Yep.
The permit is good till the end of the year, so now
Yes.
we're in March 3rd. It's only 8 weeks difference, but you haven't used it, so you didn't need it yet, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Would there be any objection to just tabling this for 2 more weeks because it's already been 8, so that the person who had concerns would have time to address the board? He's in Arizona.
You know,
It'd just be for 2 more weeks.
His email said till April.
Yeah, his email to me said till April.
Oh, I didn't know that, but, okay, same question. Is there a concern with tabling this for 30 days?
There
Until the other board member can get here?
there would be until April.
There would be.
Yes. Yes. With road restrictions coming
Right.
on, starting this week, you know, the possibility of road restrictions coming back off and work starting, there would be a concern to that.
Do you expect to be using it within the next 30 days?
I have no jobs on my books right now, but that could change tomorrow,
Understandable. Yeah.
so.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Thanks, Nick.
Think
Any other questions or concerns or,
Well, to start discussion, I'll move that we approve the temporary use permit 567.
There you go.
I'll second that.
I was finding my way around on the agenda. Okay, I got a motion and a second to approve. Are we approving draft, I'll call the top one draft 1, and the bottom one is draft 2. So is your motion to approve draft 1, the top one?
Is there a difference between those, Cindy, or?
The top one is the current one, the bottom
Okay.
one is the one that Marv always wants with the, with
Yeah.
the,
Specific
the-
heights.
yeah.
Yeah,
Is
they're
that
both basically
the
the
main
same
difference?
except for the weed thing. So we're approving the top one, is what the motion is for.
Travis, which one are you approving? The second one just says the weeds up to 12 inches.
What did planning and zoning recommend? Or did
They,
rem-
they recommended 12 inches. They said because controlling the weeds, you can kill a weed, but it could still be 5 feet tall.
Okay.
This has never been a planning and zoning, first of all.
Okay.
And, as it relates to weeds, and the 12 inches comes in regards to the frac sand ordinances, that's where the discussion was. I advised them, and I advised this board when all that was approved, 12 inches is really a pretty arbitrary number that really doesn't mean anything. Cindy's not gonna be out there with a ruler. I spoke with Brad Seifert, and he says in an acceptable manner, because you have other weeds that can be noxious that don't hit 12 inches. So I would advise, going with number 3 on the top in an acceptable manner, because we'll have Brad go out there and determine whatever the weed is, whatever it is, regardless of height.
Okay.
And
So
I don't
My motion would
dis-
be to approve the one that's as an acceptable manner.
Okay, right, and just to add a little more discussion, I'm quite familiar with weeds, and there are a lot of weeds that don't even get, leafy spurs, for instance, that can, produce a bud at like 8 inches, it don't even have to be 12 inches, so, there are weeds, of course, we all call it, I don't know the proper term now, I'm at a loss, but it's like a stinkweed. That you wanna get when it's like only 2 to 3 inches tall. You don't wanna wait for it to get 12 inches or more, so if we have this 12-inch thing in there, are people gonna say, well, it's not 12 inches yet, I don't have to
Right.
spray it?
That's not what it says, Mr. Chairman. Acceptable manner and cannot exceed 12 inches. So those other ones would still have to be done in acceptable manner.
So, All right, well, the motion is to approve the weeds in an acceptable manner during the time of this permit. Any other discussion? Hearing none, Travis,
Aye.
Liza,
Aye.
Wayne? Aye. Marvin?
Nay.
Jean, aye. Okay, 9:43. Oh, signature again. Mock trial.
We gotta go to the,
We got Jim Elmer.
we got Jim.
Oh, 9:40, sorry.
Yeah.
I looked, I was,
You'll catch it, you'll catch it.
I was looking at the 10 o'clock one already, sorry.
We're all watching it.
Okay, Jim. We're late, but I hope you're okay with that.
Morning.
Good morning.
You guys got that assessment? Everybody get that from Badlands?
This one here?
7 pages.
There's like 70 pages, I
The one
think.
I emailed you.
This,
Oh,
oh,
Oh, okay.
Nobody got back to me that they wanted a printed copy. Does anybody want a printed
Wayne's got his.
I got one.
copy? Yeah, I printed it. I didn't email it.
okay, that's the asbestos report?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay,
So as you can see in the 218 Harmon Avenue property, there was 5 different items that came up as having asbestos in it. 4 of them were category 1, 1 was category 2. And 204 and 206 Harmon Avenue, there was 3 items in there, and that was ceiling panel and floor tile, which were category 1.
Category 1 on that one.
All 3 were category 1 in that.
Is that the worst or the best?
Yeah.
Category 2 is up higher.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not on asbestos.
What, one is the least, yeah.
What
Well,
is the least
It's
amount
all
of effort, I
asbestos,
guess?
it's all got asbestos in it.
okay.
Good answer, Jim.
So
Let's just say.
what are our obligations or where do we stand? No
Okay,
matter what the category
I
is.
did talk to Jane Kangas at the state, and I've been talking to Candy Strand at the landfill. And the category 2, according to the Badlands report, we would have to get that abated and removed. Category 1, you can, this Jane told me you can demo it with the building, but if you do that without separating it, you'd have to put the whole building in the, it was the MSW pit, or the household pit, Candy calls it. Candy said she doesn't have room in that pit for a whole building, so we're kinda looking at, we'd have to separate it all out. So once it's taken out, then that goes in that MSW pit, and then the rest can go in her inert pit.
That's the category 1 stuff.
Any of it,
Oh,
anything with
okay.
asbestos has to go in that MSW pit, or her household pit.
Okay, I'm gonna go a step backwards here now. Category 2 and or category 1, who can remove it?
She wrote me an email, it can be, where's that? It's a non-regulated. She says it's can be removed by non-certified personnel using hand tools.
Both the 1 and 2,
Yeah,
okay?
and the way it looks, all of this stuff is non-regulated, but they still need to be separated out and go in, like I said, to the MSW pit.
So you'd have to take the floor and the roof out of the 1. and then
Well,
you
it's
demo the rest
ceiling
of the-
panel is what's, in the store, you got ceiling panel on the interior, you have ceiling panel, which is 4x8 sheets, those are the category 2 stuff. And there's a whole bunch of floor tile, different floor tile that needs to be removed. And there's some black mastic, the way the report shows, I'm not quite sure, I think that's the glue or something. But then in the store, you have the outside, the upper roof is a black I don't know, it must be asbestos in that black tar or something. So that's the biggest area, that's 3,500 square feet. So you have some interior and exterior on the store, and in the Riedemann's, that's only interior items, so.
So who would we have that would remove it? We'd hire a contractor or?
Well, we would,
County.
I would suggest probably getting quotes. I did talk to this Badlands Environmental, cause they said they would help us out with that if we wanted. I just said, can you just give me a rough idea of what we're looking at? I don't want exact costs. So, give or take, they told me this morning that, if we would remove all the asbestos from both buildings, that this would be excluding the roof. He said if you exclude the roof on the store, we're looking at roughly 43,000.
What?
Yeah. If if we do it that way, he said we could probably get a contractor just to pull the roof portion off, and then that would have to go in the MSW pit as the whole roof. If we remove everything, including the roof, you're looking at roughly 63,000 something. That's not cheap.
No kidding.
I asked you to keep it under 10, Jim.
So that's where we're at in the building and renovation. I sat down with Gwen this morning in the building and renovation line item. Line 435, after we pay utilities for the rest of the year on both properties, we got about 13,000 left in that line item.
This $43,000 quote was for that entity to remove it?
No, it's just
Just
a
an
rough
estimate.
idea. I just said, I just kinda want a rough idea to give you guys, so. It could be less,
It is kind of ballpark.
yeah. Cause they deal with all, I just wanted you guys to have some kinda idea what we're looking at.
Well, Jim, we'll still have, this bill to pay out of that line item yet too, right?
I probably, did that get paid this time?
$1,600.
Oh, yeah,
That'll come out of there, so that 13,000
so we're
is
down to
not-
about 11,000 left.
How much ceiling tile is there? The reason where I'm going with this is, can we reduce some of this cost if we went in and removed the ceiling tile?
So who are you talking, we? Like,
Well, it might even be myself coming in with a mask on and doing it, but
you're looking at, it's in the report there.
And we can put this in the landfill, Candy?
Can you put the roof in the landfill?
Both the cat 1 and cat 2?
Yes.
Okay.
There's just about 1,200 square feet in the store. And then,
And since it's our own stuff, there is no additional cost to put it in the landfill?
Well, I don't know, I suppose not, because of the county building.
That's what I'm asking, not that we,
It would be nice to get paid for it, but we're not going to, haven't in the past, so. I'm over it.
and you're looking at 1,500 square feet in the other auction house for that transite board.
I understand, Candy, I'm just trying to get that we're sitting here discussing this, and then all of a sudden it comes up, oh no, we're gonna have to pay the landfill another 5,000 to dispose of this or something. Okay.
That'd be nice.
about how much square foot of floor tile has to be removed, and that would include the mastic underneath it?
There's 2,631 of the 9x9 in the store, 840 12x12 tile. And then, let's see, another one. You're looking at 1,568 of the 9x9 and 1,568 of 12x12 in the other building.
Okay. Is anyone here, because we all have different occupations, familiar with what the qualifications are for someone to remove this product? And where I'm going is, I used to work at Dakota Gasification, and if my memory isn't incorrect, it could be, I thought we had one of our contractors out there remove the ceiling, the floor tile and the mastic. So what I'm saying is, we can possibly break this down a little bit and save some tons of money. Now, the roof, that's a whole different thing. The ceiling tile, that's not hard for 2 or 3 individuals to go in and pull that out and throw it in a truck. That would save us some money. The floor tile, I'm not qualified for removing that, but we might have contractors here that would be able to do that. And we could reduce that cost for that
I think that's what
$43,000.
we have here is, this was an estimate from this firm that it might cost us about 43 hiring contractors to
Yeah,
do it.
correct.
Yeah.
So,
I understand you said at this level it doesn't require specialized people, right?
No, I don't think. It says non-certified personnel.
There you go, okay.
But you have
But-
to follow state guidelines taking it out.
Yeah, you're gonna still have to, we still gotta file an application with the state and tell them how we're doing it. And
Did that
There's-
not do the abatement for us when we did the Two Rivers Cafe? Who did that abatement for us?
I don't even remember. I think it was an outfit out of Dickinson. I believe it was Two's Construction or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yep.
Okay,
The whole project wasn't.
I'm gonna recommend to the board that we entertain the idea of putting this out on bids. And we can have it separate, that one would be ceiling tile, one floor tile, possibly.
I was kind of going down that path, but I was gonna say, okay, if we put this out on bids to find local contractors, I'm gonna use the word local, I should just say a contractor or contractors who'd be interested in doing this, who's gonna supervise the removal to make sure that the product that, like the ceiling tiles, is Jim gonna be going over there?
You gotta follow whatever the state tells you. Like I said, we've gotta do a demo application to the state. They have to approve it first, so I
Correct,
don't,
but if we hire someone, how do we know if they're removing the ceiling tiles or not?
well, exactly.
That's what I'm
You
asking.
gotta still have,
They'd be licensed,
they'd have to be someone, I don't know.
they'll be licensed somehow.
Correct, but who's gonna make sure that they're doing the job that they were hired to do?
Exactly.
That's what I'm getting at. I mean,
Well, like I said.
so we hire a contractor that says, I'll go in and I'll remove the ceiling tile and the floor tiles and I can do everything for X amount of dollars.
Well, if they breach that contract, wouldn't that be something that we could go against them, correct?
But I'm not that knowledgeable.
I understand
you
that.
know. Like,
What
I know
department
what
in
you're
the
saying.
county, who in this county is the one who's gonna check up on that? That's what I'm asking.
Well, it sounds like it's the state
The state
jurisdiction,
does,
so the
right.
state would have to do the inspection
Okay,
To ensure that it
to
was.
ensure that it was done properly.
That's why the applications go through.
okay.
Well, like I said, this Badlands said they don't actually do work like
Right.
that. They can get us in contact with contractors too.
I think that's where are we at that point? We need to find out if we got anyone who will do it and what the cost will be. And
Yeah.
we can ask them by the piece. I mean, if someone says, I'll do just the ceiling tile for this much, or the next guy will say, I'll do,
Flooring.
I use the word guy, but the contractor that'll remove all of it or part of it, or we need 2 or 3 different contractors. I think we just,
Well, if you're gonna put it out for bids, you should do one for the whole project, and then you could include an alternative for the project minus the ceiling tile and the flooring.
When you say whole project, are you including the roof?
Right, whatever we wouldn't wanna do, we could do, right, the whole project, but what you're
I don't, okay.
thinking
Yes.
we might be able to do, which I'm feeling major reluctance.
And then,
Even still, if you wanna do the alternative bid that without those specific items, then it would be right there.
and then, just keep in mind too, this is just to get rid of asbestos. If you're gonna tear the building down, that's,
Right.
you know, and like I said, we only got 11,000 in that line item, so do we have money elsewhere that?
Let's
you
get
know,
our bids and see where we're at.
Start with the asbestos.
Do you
Mr.
want me
Chairman, Mr. Chairman, for discussion, I move we send out the asbestos abatement out for bids, and the bids to be itemized by tile, roof, and floor tile. Is that answering what you were suggesting? It's covering everything, but they're itemized so we could tell which one we could give?
Well, I think you wanna do a total abatement, cause there was what, 5 items? Total abatement of whatever's listed in that report. And
Yes.
then
For
whatever's
interior
listed-
versus exterior, would that,
Well, Jessica, if it-
Oh,
see, there's the floor tile, ceiling tile, mastic is all interior, roofing is exterior.
Okay, there you go. So you could do an, interior, exterior, and then alternative just for exterior.
Jessica, the reason I asked for it itemized with all three, if we do it just all interior, what if a contractor is able to do the ceiling tile, but he's not able to do the floor, and vice versa? So they might, the reason I wanted it itemized, so we could pick which contractor to do which portion. That's where I was going with that.
He's in the middle of the motion. You gotta wrap it up. You gotta.
I understand, that's why I made the motion. I'll leave
Okay,
my
we-
motion as is, and then it,
Okay, so what was that? To send the asbestos statements for bids to include,
to include, I move that we send out asbestos abatement out for bids and to be itemized by tile, roof, and floor tile.
Pull your motion back, and then we'll make it in a minute. You can,
I withdraw my motion due to time constraints on this.
there we go. Okay, thank you. All right, Hazen Bay, we gotta go to 10 o'clock, Hazen Bay bid letting. I need a motion to close the bids.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move to close the bids.
I'll second.
I don't know, is there any discussion? I don't think this is even a discussable motion, but Wayne, how do you
I'll
move?
vote aye.
Travis?
Aye.
Liza?
Aye.
Marvin?
Aye.
Jean, aye. Okay, there, we covered that one.
Oh, be ready with your pen. This goes really fast. They give these numbers pretty fast.
We can ask for it to repeat them all. Yeah. We got a little in,
We do?
yeah.
So you got that there, that Marvin made a motion and withdrew the motion, okay.
okay, first one is from Keller Paving and Landscaping out of Minot.
Everybody's poised over here, Jessica. Their pens.
Is Keller Paving and Landscaping Incorporated represented here? Yep. Okay, thank you.
Is there just one? Yeah. Okay, total base bid, $588,276,40. $588,276.40.
Okay. First night she said $588,276.
It's okay.
We got it.
We got it.
Okay.
We had another
You
1,000
did a
in there,
Gene. You did a Gene.
Did I? You'll have to call me on that. Sometimes this isn't always connected to this.
We got it. Central Specialty, okay, thank you.
I forgot it, it was laying on my table there, and I go, this is for,
You told me I could use one of those years ago. That was when you were sitting by me.
yeah.
Oh, boy.
Well, that's all right, you're sitting over there, you could have my
Now
knife.
we can have it.
I
Okay,
just,
Central Specialties, $591,954.74. $591,954.74. This is Northern Improvement of Fargo.
They represented here? Okay, thank you.
Is it out of Dickinson
Far-
or Fargo?
Both.
Both?
Yeah, the
Okay.
contracting license was in Fargo, the return address is Bismarck, but I think they have office in.
Dickinson.
Yep.
That's all.
It's Northern Improvement from North Dakota. Okay, $599,829.40. $599,829.40.
Oh,
Okay, this is Bechtold Paving out of Minot, Bechtold Paving out of Minot.
Are they represented here? Thank you.
$481,177.64. $481,177.64.
We got more, huh?
This is Strata.
Strata and Mariner are the same.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Are they represented here? Thank you.
$516,742.32. $516,742.32.
Maybe we just worked,
Eric, did you have an engineer's estimate?
it was 550,000.
550?
Well, that was our budget. So,
budget, okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So then, that was what we budgeted.
And that's it? Mayo,
I think what we could do
nothing
is
from Mayo?
There's no one on our list,
contingent upon,
Mayo Construction.
They might have had
check
taken,
do that way.
pulled the bid down from the Quest or whatever, but they just didn't bid. So
Okay.
Oh,
it's pretty
okay.
common.
Okay.
Yeah.
Motion to table for another year.
Well, I guess what I was thinking is that, we got a pretty clear, low bid. I think if you guys wanted to, we can always do it in the next meeting too, but Mr. Chairman, I guess I would recommend that we award it to Bechtold Paving, contingent upon checking on the math. Would that work?
Do you wanna check on, do you wanna bring it back, bring it back?
I could check it right now and, as he's talking and.
Just wanna
do
Well,
that.
we won't, just don't do anything until he
Yeah,
checks it.
just wait till you come back here.
Okay.
we wanna thank all the contractors for your bid, we appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was a good turnout.
Okay. We can discuss the next item while he reviews that. Permission to purchase 2 motor graders.
You know, looking at, just have to decide, and we still have some time here too, as far as when them, I think it's October. But, you know, the machines are getting closer to that $7,000 mark, that 103 especially. A little over 100 hours and we'll be at that 7,000 to where we can't use it. So, and then unit 102, would be the one that's got a little less than 500 hours to go, so. You know, 103 is the one that's, like I say, the closest one, and that's the one that, it was oversight with Steve and myself that back in, I think it was whenever they were first bid, we had that, what they call an operator lease, and that's, you know, we were paying that $5,500 per year. We used our buyback for the down payment, and then, but at the end of the day, that thing is not, we don't have no equity in it.
I am concerned here, and don't know that we can continue with that bid because we purchased on them, and I know it said 2 or more, but we closed out that deal. I think if we're to purchase more, given the amounts we're talking, it should be rebid.
Thank you, Jessica. Okay, but I agree with you 100%. Thank you for that. Do you have some more you wanted to add?
Well, I just, when I talked, whatever, because Steve had said from RDO, and like I say, when Bowman County did this, and the state's attorney down there had told, because this had come up there too, and the state's attorney down there had told them that as long as they can give or provide a machine at that bid price, it does not have to be rebid.
You know what I'm gonna tell you? You're my county now.
Right, okay, I understand that, but I'm just saying, that's what they said, you know. I'm not an attorney, but.
No, and, my concern is because it doesn't say it's perpetual, it doesn't say it extends, and we did finalize under that. So, to me, this is a whole new
His
purchase,
commitment
and
was
it's,
done.
and it goes over that threshold amount. Now, if it were perpetual, kinda like our fuel pricing or something like that, but since that was specific and we closed it out, I think we need to rebid.
So, can we get
Mr.
permission to
Chairman?
bid?
Yeah,
Right,
and they may honor it and put in the same thing.
right.
But, because it's an entire new purchase, you might have others out there that would put in something different too, so because we're getting that threshold again, I think it needs to be done.
Marvin.
Okay, fellow board members, I gave you guys a sheet, and what I did is I asked Ken and Rachel to prepare a list of all their equipment, and it tells you when they got it and when it possibly has to be replaced, and it's sorted by graders, pickups, and where I'm headed with that is trying to make a long-term plan for how we're going to do these purchases. Presently, right now, if we have 6 graders and they each cost $350,000, we need to budget $350,000 just for the graders. And right now, our equipment budget is only $150,000. We're not gonna get there. So what I show here is that on 102, we have a buyback of 102 is, I have to, pretty small lines, aren't there? 102, we have a buyback of 157.8. 103, we don't have a buyback. That is null and void once we reach close to 7,000 hours. And with looking at other finances, what I'm going to recommend for discussion here is that we turn back 102 and use that buyback to purchase 103. And I've talked to Steve Meyer, and it's almost a wash. There will be some additional fees possibly or less that because of due to time constraints, it might be interest that we get back, or we might have to pay. So, but it's not material. We're within a couple $1,000s. So if we do that, we would reduce our machines from 6 to 5, and we wouldn't have to go out for bids.
You have to rebid it. Anything over $100,000 has to be rebid. Even if you go down to 1 and it's over 100,000.
We're not buying another machine though. Oh,
Yeah, we are.
You're saying if we buy the one that had the operator's lease, the lease is up, and if for us to own it, we still owe $157,000,
162 something.
Yeah.
okay? So you're saying that's a new machine?
Well, you're saying we're. I
You're
thought
saying
you
we're
said
purchasing it,
swapping.
right? With
Not
the
swapping.
monies
Wait a
from
minute.
the other one?
No, you would turn back one.
I understand what
Yeah.
Marvin is saying.
This one.
We're gonna get 150,
157.8 for it, and then this one with the operator lease, so if we turn that, we either have to turn that one back and get nothing for it, or we have to buy it from them for 162, whatever. Oh.
so the
And we
buyout is
utilize
a,
the money from one oh.
Blend it down machine.
Correct.
Yes.
right,
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
then I follow.
Okay.
Gotcha.
yeah,
okay. Now, my question is, are we able to do that? Can we
From-
turn in one machine and get the 160?
we're gonna get 157.8.
But you gotta have to turn.
We can do that?
From what Steve Meyer told me, the answer is yes. Now, when I talked to him, I asked him, I said, give me some numbers, and he's not here, I was hoping he would be here, but I said, give me some numbers, and these are only information, they're not obligated numbers. I'm not holding him contractually to what he told me.
Okay.
But he did tell me, Marv, he said, it's just going to be basically a wash, other than a few $1,000s, depending on the time. So with the information that I got, I recommend we run these hours, these machines, up to 6,990 hours. What we paid for it, so
Yep.
we may as well get the best bang
Yes.
for a buck.
Sure.
And then make sure we don't go over, and then turn the one machine back, get the 157.8, buy the other machine that we've already got, or buy out the lease on it, and we're down one machine, but we won't have the additional cost to the county.
If if it works that way, I think I'd be in favor of that.
I would like to have this, I'm just thinking faster, but I would like to have this tabled to our next meeting and have Steve come in. I asked him for a paper, and he sent me an email, and I didn't get that one fully. Basically, I didn't read it. I read it, didn't understand it, so I moved on to something else. I would like him to come in. So I'm gonna ask that we table this for 2 weeks and have him come in and substantiate what I've just said.
And in the meantime, make sure we don't go over the hours. on those
Yeah,
machines.
I don't think we will.
But one thing that also Ken mentioned, this whole process can take a couple months
2 months build time is what they.
if you buy a new machine.
Correct.
This year, when here, so we should be okay on our hours. So I'm gonna make a motion that we table this for further review and visit with Steve Meyer.
Table until the next meeting?
Yes,
Yes.
please.
Sure,
I'll second
I
that.
agree. Yeah, I gotta get my,
And your motion is to table until the next meeting, that's it?
yes, table
Table the next,
the motor grader
Great.
just until next meeting.
So that Steve Meyer can be available.
Yep. And we're gonna ask that Steve Meyer attend, but of course, if he's willing, hopefully he is, then he can,
Well, if he can't, maybe you can just have him release it to Lenny.
He can, if he can, unless he's got another prior engagement, if not, he'll be here.
Just keep that
I
simple.
would think, I mean.
I can make it that simple, Shannon.
okay, any other discussion?
You don't have a second yet.
Yeah, Liza,
Oh, I'm sorry.
yep. Hey,
Get your carrying.
any other discussion on our motor graders? Hearing none, Marvin,
Aye.
Liza,
Aye.
Wayne. Aye. Travis.
Aye.
Gene, aye. I hope we don't, I mean, I'm not opposed to this, but I just hope we don't kick this one down the road until this fall. We might, but that's fine.
No, we're not gonna.
Okay, 41st Avenue, proposed speed limit of 35 miles an hour.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I put that on the agenda. Mr. Kessler, Dean Kessler called me and asked me, he's concerned about the road, county road going past his place. I went out and visited with him and looked at it, and he's got residence on one side and he's got some operation on the other side, but they're both really close to the road. And the people going down that road are just zooming through there. He said, someone's gonna get hurt. He said, it just takes a very small lapse of watching what's going on, and they're going down that road way too fast. And he asked if we could put down a speed limit of 35 miles per hour on that. And I looked up the address, it's 41st Avenue Southwest, Stanton. So, we're just north of Stanton,
Northwest of Stanton, northwest.
barely.
That's on a
Yeah.
gravel.
That's why I said northwest.
Yeah.
That's right.
So,
Well, I for one I'm not in favor of putting speed limits in front of residences' places, otherwise we open up that can, we're gonna have it all over the county. And then who's gonna even go and enforce it? I
I say,
don't know.
can we even legally do that?
Well, I think we
As
can,
long as, yeah, we have to put signage up if we're changing it.
yeah,
absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
but otherwise we can.
cause I've seen it in,
What surface is it?
Gravel.
That's gravel, right?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, we went out and looked at it this morning too, and I was looking at for any engineering reasons to warrant a decrease in the speed limit, and I didn't see anything within the clear zone and things of that nature. There was one hill there that might be a sight distance concern, but the approaches are far enough away. So, I guess my opinion is I agree with you that if you can sign it down, you can do that legally, I think, but you open up that can of worms, like you said, so.
yeah, then we're gonna have signs all over the county. We're gonna have every resident who lives near a county road requesting.
Also, last week, I called Terry Turnus and visited with him, and I had asked him if they had any complaints. He said they've had a couple, but he said, and they've put people out there, deputies, and it's such an open spot, there's no really place to hide to catch anyone that's speeding, and it's sporadic too. So a deputy could sit there for 2-3 hours, no one come along. I mean, that's 2-3 hours that they could be on a different road too. So, and I do agree, because when you pop over that first little bit on the flat there, and like Eric said, with that south deal, that little bit of a rise, but the approach is further to the south, you know, so, but there is operations, there's 2 houses on the west side, and on the east side is where they have corrals with cattle.
Corrals, right,
Yeah.
yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, not down there is in the clear, I mean, it's, sight distance is great there.
It's great down there, once you get over that hill on the south side.
And I do agree with Terry that it's pretty, I mean, how can you,
Well, we have that down there at Unruh Ranch, the same thing. We have residential on one side. The tractor barn and the equipment barn is on one side, and it's a federal aid road that runs right through the entity. And I think, I don't know, I don't even know what, there isn't a reduced speed in there, I know. So it's not that,
Yeah, I guess that's our concern is that
yeah, it's out there.
if we do this, if we reduce it for this individual, people all over the county are probably gonna ask for it, and, signs aren't that expensive, but still it's not budgeted, so.
Well, it's not only,
Plus their target.
It's hard to
Their
enforce.
target.
right, that's my thing. I don't want Dean having to post a deputy out at every one of these. I mean, wow. Anyway, well, if we are, I would need a motion to have the speed limit reduced and posted as such. If anyone wants to make that motion, otherwise it just stays as it is. Hearing no motion,
There's distances.
we move, it drop.
Start off at 35, Yep.
County funds, county road funds review projections and long-range equipment purchases.
Okay, again, that's the sheet that I gave you, but
Do I have that sheet? Or did I print it out?
I gave you all the stuff clipped together. It was on the top of your sheet there, but anyways.
Okay.
The first question is, we do get some money from COVID, and I asked Shanna to, give her a heads up that I was gonna ask that question. How much are we going to get?
Right there.
What does it say there? Is that,
I didn't bring it in,
oh, you guys have this sheet here, Dakota Transportation sheet?
I handed it to every commissioner.
I know, I'm sure they do, I just wanna point out which one it is. Gene can't
Oh, I
find
made
it.
copies.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did guys, give you guys a front sheet there, and I didn't copy all of it, but it looks like this, Gene.
This one?
Yes,
Okay, got it.
that's what I gave all the board members this morning.
Okay.
The second page, and Shannon provided this, thank you very much. It shows Mercer County is gonna receive 81,000. You might wanna write this on that piece of paper, $81,272.49. So, just basically letting you guys know, and Shannon, if we have to apply for this by 2024.
Right, and as I replied to you this morning, this is something that we need to discuss with Ken and Eric. It's for federal aid roads. They're gonna have to go through their projects and decide what we're doing and which federal aid road it'll apply to, but we do not need to use it until, we have to use it by September 30th, 2024.
Is it something that you have to apply for, or is it something that you're
No.
getting? Okay,
I think it just has to
I do not
qualify
believe
for
we
it.
have to apply for it.
that's what I thought too.
I think they're obligated to us already, but we have to figure out what we're gonna.
Yeah.
Designate
And
to
Ken and I have
Designated.
talked about it briefly, sorry. I don't know, we were talking maybe gravel or the chip seal projects that we have coming up too, to kinda, to offset some of those costs. Those are our first initial thoughts anyway.
Right.
Right, and the only stipulation I believe is you can't just use it as a match.
Right.
For federal aid.
Okay, I'll give you guys a copy of this. There's a paragraph, almost towards the bottom, that we could get audited on this here.
Yep.
I'll just read it. It says, however, if you choose or wish to get reimbursed for any special items listed above, I'm not sure what LPA is. LPAs must have been Title VI compliant prior to any expenditure.
Yep.
You familiar with all that?
Yep, and the only concern that I had was the Title VI, language that they had on there. And you guys must be compliant, I'm guessing, and have that, yeah?
Is it over 700,000? It's over a certain dollar amount, then we have a single audit. That has happened a couple times since I've been
Okay,
on there.
so you would have to come up with that audit, I think, in order to use this, the way it sounds to me.
So I would just need to go back and
Find that,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's any political subdivision over 750,000
Yes.
of
And I
federal
think-
aid.
I think it's happened once or twice since I've been here.
Okay,
But yeah, it's been audited, so I just have to pull the.
just
record.
pull that,
So-
yep,
You guys got a copy of this?
yep,
Okay.
yep.
Okay, that's one of the items under the county road funds review. Okay. The other is, the township revenue. According to the state, I pulled up a report from the state treasurer's office, and we did get township road and bridge funds. But our budget doesn't show it. Our budget for this year doesn't show anything for township roads.
We already received it.
Okay, what I'm saying, pointing out, it's not on our budget, and it's not on our budget review detailed revenue report.
Because I budget zero, because I never know how much it is.
But we weren't in, at the time we did our budget, we already received almost 65,000, so that could have been put on there.
In my packet from the DAPO said it wasn't forthcoming anymore, so I put zero.
Okay, anyhow, what I want our township revenue, updated when we do our budget this year. So that's 65,000, that was,
We received 23,000 to date.
for,
I never know how much it's gonna be.
That's always.
it can be looked up on the state treasurer's report. I look it up every time it's,
So you know that, like, this June, you're gonna know what we're gonna get for 2022?
in, when we do our budget, if we do our budget in August, we already had $65,000. That could have been put on the budget.
But what if we weren't guaranteed 65,000 for 21?
It was already there.
But we prepared the budget the year before it happened. I'm not following.
How do you say that we're not going to get it?
How do I know we're gonna get $65,000? In my NADAPO pamphlet that I get to prepare my budget, it said that we weren't getting anything.
All we'd have to do is call the state treasurer. Okay, that's the only point I want to make
Okay,
on the town. Okay. Now, I also gave all of you guys a handout that looks like this. All I want you guys to do is, and I definitely want this brought up and put on the agenda for next meeting again, please. Township or county road funds review. Put that on the agenda for next meeting, please. I want you guys to look through all this. Some of the information's pretty hard to read. I I want you guys to double check it. Shanna can check it. At the end of 2022, it looks like we will have used up all of our road funds. Ken, I have a copy for you too. You want you to take a copy with you. So what I want you guys to know is that we do levy for this every year, but we also took monies, transferred monies that was already in the bank. We didn't levy enough. And if you read that last page, like I said, this is tabled for next meeting. I put it on there. I want those questions answered. Where are we gonna be at the end of 2022?
Okay,
Thank you.
our auditor will have a response.
That's all I have there. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if you want to get back to this Hazen Bay, I did check the math and, the math checked out. So, I would recommend that we award a contract to backpop paving. They're within our budget. Their, bid was $481,177.64.
Okay, any other discussion? Oh,
Mr.
do I
Chairman.
have a motion to
Mr.
accept that
Chairman, I
bid?
move that we accept Eric's recommendation for Bechtold paving for the Hazen Bay Road.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Now, is there any other discussion?
I have one question. Is this here eligible for federal funding?
We didn't bid it that way, no.
Okay, I wanted that stated. Thank you very much.
And I don't know if the road is, honestly.
I don't
I don't think it is.
Don't.
No.
Because the motion reads to award Bechtold paving the Hazen Bay mill and overlaying in the amount of $481,177.64.
Yes. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Marvin?
Aye.
Travis?
Aye.
Wayne?
I vote aye.
Liza?
Aye.
Jean, aye. Okay, 10:30, 2021 audit RFP bids.
Thanks, Eric. Thank you, Ken.
I'll move that we close the bids for the audit.
Second?
I'll second.
I don't even know if there's a discussion on that.
Yeah, there is.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Any discussion on closing of the bids?
Oh, there it is.
Hearing none. Travis, how do you vote?
Aye.
Liza?
Aye.
Marvin?
Aye.
Wayne?
Aye.
Jean, aye.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question for Jessica. This is just protocol. These bids were already opened, and most of all the times that we received bids in the past, we open them when we're here. I'm just curious why these were not done the same.
The only one that was electronic was Meyer, and there was nothing in that year in sealed bid. I was just gonna say that the bid required to be sealed for the notice.
All right, that answered my question. Thank you.
Where do I have that sheet of paper?
That is that.
This bond right here.
Okay.
So we received 3? Is that,
Yep.
if I'm looking at this right?
Okay, just to probably shorten it up, how many bids did we get and what were their amounts? Do you have that available?
You want me to review them?
Yes, please.
I Bailey, okay. Theirs is for 40,000.
Okay,
40,000. Rath and Meyer, 13,500. 13,500. And then this is the state auditor's office. Estimated range, 27 to 31,000. 27 to 31,000. And that's all there is.
okay, what are our, how do I word this, legal obligations? Do we have to just accept the lowest bid, or is there,
Well, there's a lot of different that are in statute.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I'm gonna make a motion that we accept the state bid of 27,031 K.
Do I have a second to that motion?
I'll second it, I just wanna have some discussion on it.
Okay,
May I have my discussion on it?
okay,
Okay.
go ahead, discussion.
Fellow board members, it's always healthy to get an audit from a different firm from time to time. They look at different things. Another thing is, the Rathenmeyer bid said 13.5, but there was an exclusion that it did not include the state review. So that 13.5 is not a locked-in figure. We do not know what the state review costs are. And they could be extensive. So, because it's healthy to, and all the things, Jessica just said, low or reasonable. I don't think Rathenmeyer's bid is even reasonable. It's not even 50% of any of the other bids, and those are very high reputable firms.
It's actually not as it relates to the bid, it's lowest and reasonable bidder.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
In my words, I don't think their bid is reasonable. I don't think we're going to get a good audit. We've had lots of concerns and discussions for 2 years regarding this, our finances and our financial reports. I think it would be time to change firms and get a really good audit, and from a different firm. And we know what their prices are. The most it's going to be is 31 K. I believe we budgeted 35. So we're within budget. So that's my argument, that we need to get a different firm to get a fresh look at this, get a very thorough audit, and it's within budget. That's why I made the motion that we accept the North Dakota State Auditor's bid.
Mr. Chairman, when I read the Rathenmeyer, the 13.5, it does say below, if there is the audit he's referring to, it's 4,000. So if you were to input that, I guess the total would be 17.5, but we wouldn't be charged that otherwise. So that was on there,
Okay.
Based on these firms, I haven't found it, but Rothenmeyer's the only one that mentioned the federal awards portion that I've seen.
Yeah, none of the other ones indicate if they would cover that or not.
The state's is 3,500.
Okay, that's
So
the
that's
major
the
federal program.
first
Okay.
major, okay.
Yeah, and I don't know if, and,
Oh, and then here, yeah, it says
I just
6,000.
6,000.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
No, it's all separate on.
yeah, but I mean, they all.
Yes, yep.
Any more discussion? Okay, hearing none, we have a motion on the floor to accept the North Dakota, State of North Dakota audit. Marvin, how do you vote?
Aye.
Travis?
Aye.
Liza?
Nay.
Wayne?
I'll vote aye.
I'll vote aye. Well, we can sit here and breathe for 2 minutes, or
Um,
at 10:40 is candy.
Right, we
but,
didn't finish the asbestos thing either.
Yep, we still need to go back to that.
So
Oh,
if we can do that in 2 minutes?
Well,
Probably not. We can review these reports and pass them.
Ken's not here now.
are
I
we,
mean-
can we move ahead with candies? I don't know if there's much public information that
Don't pick it
I
up.
think we can move ahead with her even though we're a minute early.
And look, this isn't a real picture. This is the hole in my roof.
Okay.
And it was like in the last little bit of snow we did, it was dripping inside the office,
Yeah.
so.
Thank you so much. I
You bet.
see it.
Got it, Candy?
Take your word for it.
A picture's worth 1,000.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially from my memory.
What are you asking?
Oh, Shannon, did you get them copies?
Yep.
Here we are
I
looking
had
again.
Western Steel and Pride Carcass give me an estimate, I'm putting a steel roof on this. And Shannon's got copies of them there. And I guess it's here nor there, whoever does it, to me, but, actually Pride came and gave me his yesterday, and he said he could probably do it sooner than later.
Who?
I'm not sure about Western Steel.
Okay.
What was the first name you said, Candy?
This is
Huh.
Pride.
Pride.
Oh, Pride,
Cart.
okay.
Yeah. And there was, did you see the two different deals on, Claris's? That one says $3,664, and then if you go to the bottom, I don't know if I highlighted that on yours, there's an added deal because he wanted to put another half-inch layer on the roof so the screws hold the thing on there better. Hold metal on.
Okay,
Yes, okay.
It's down at the very
are
bottom.
we?
Yep.
We're with you. Yep.
So if you add them two up, that came to $6,272. And the insurance company gave a check so far for this, and I do believe that the insurance guy told me that he was gonna cut this first check for, it was 2,000 something. And when we get the work done and get the bill, and that, supposed to give that to him, and I think he's gonna give me maybe another 1,200 or something. Cause the shingles technically were old, so you lose stuff on that. And our deductible is 500, but they are paying for some of this.
Insurances,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So you
They
said you had a
already
check
paid
for
part
how
of it.
much already? What was your check for already?
$2,083.28. That's with the $1,000 deductible off of it, so it actually would have been $3,083.
Oh,
So we got 2,000 and we're gonna get approximately another 1,200, you estimate.
Yes.
Okay.
And then I do on my budget stuff, I do have both, building improvements and I believe they're $2,500.
Well, we gotta fix the roof.
Yeah, it's gotta
Doesn't
get
matter.
fixed, and I was hoping I could get it fixed, or I have to go put a tarp on
And
it.
even if this goes over
I
budget,
bought
cause
the tarp, by the way, you haven't gotten that.
Put a
done yet.
tarp on, you gotta put tires up there too then.
Oh, yeah, fabulous.
Probably got one of those at the landfill.
right.
Which one do you recommend, or do you have any preference?
I guess, I don't know, Pride sounded like he could do it sooner than later, and he'd probably knock it out pretty fast, it won't take him that long to do it. And we don't have it, there's no disposal fee, because
Oh,
I think
good.
that, I told both of them
Well,
that.
thanks,
Disposal fee.
That was
I
nice.
was gonna ask that.
That was nice, yeah, that was nice of you, Candace.
Yeah, I'll bite that one.
Okay. Almost lost the bid.
That's the discount on the bid.
There
Okay.
you go.
Okay, any other discussion, thoughts, ideas? If not, I need a motion. Which one to accept?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept Pride Carcass's bid for repairing the roof at the landfill.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, Marvin?
Aye.
Travis?
Aye.
Eliza?
Aye.
Wayne?
How about I?
Aye. Okay.
Candy, does the Carcass bid not include then the option one on the Claris bid? Because the Claris bid is only $36.64 versus $5,000.
Did Western Steel have any time frame on theirs, or? I mean, I saw that base bid too, but,
What's that?
you know,
It says,
I did.
way down on the bottom, it said something about 30
Travis.
days. so
Okay,
it must- But that doesn't mean that it'll do it.
It's kind of
Right.
over with.
Right.
We don't really have anything to
I
discuss
don't wanna
anymore.
throw a contractor under the bus, but.
We want everybody the highest bid today.
Okay, what's he doing here? Removal.
Well, I think everybody looked at the
Totals.
totals.
And then also too,
Yeah,
there was this like electric vent thing that's on there, it's a big round thing that's on the roof, and actually it hasn't worked for years. And that was something else when Pride came out there and that, I said, it's not running, I said, there's a switch in here and you can't hear it running, so he says, the motor's out or something, and it's not necessary, so when he puts the roof on, there's gonna be a vent on the top of the thing and eliminate, that won't be sitting on there anymore. We already, it's just gonna get taken out of there. There's no reason to have it
Yeah,
up there.
he's got it down here installing roof,
The ridge vent.
ridge vent
Sewer vent. Mhm.
Yeah, oh yeah, there's
Yeah.
a sewer vent and then,
and ridge vent, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
The way I read this is the 3664 is to do exactly what we want. And he's proposing though that it may not be sufficient and adding something more. So
well, yeah, that extra, I never got to ask him.
And so it would be the 5 versus the 3664.
And if you think about the insurance claim money, that would cover the 3664 if we get that extra 1,200, correct?
Pretty close, yeah.
Yeah, so the altogether gonna be 4,000.
Yeah, or are you thinking that we should do that and put that extra wood on there?
He's proposing that suggested.
Yeah, because of screwing it on there, I guess.
He basically says if I do what you want, it's 3,600, but if you want me to do it right, add that extra. Kinda how I read that.
Mhm.
But to that end, price isn't specific. We have to assume it's over the half and he's not proposing that. Add anything.
Hmm.
I think the top. And I think we're holding the same thing. I think this is just more detailed and clear. It's starting to cover.
Okay, are we moving on?
So we're sticking with the high bid?
So far, I would need a procedural
We'd have to
clarification on how we would
rescind them.
rescind the motion that we made, that we passed, to be able to revisit it.
So Marv moved for it. If he would like to rescind it, he would ask the rest of the commissioners if we had any issue with rescinding it.
Does
If
that
nobody
mean
has
that's-
it, then we can rescind it and we can rediscuss it, if you wanted to change the motion. If Marv doesn't want to change the motion, then,
Motion stands.
I make a motion to rescind my previous motion.
So I'm just gonna go.
For
with
further
the
discussion.
contract to Western Steel, then we're not adding that extra wood, correct? Is that what's happening?
Did they decide to do that?
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it hasn't been decided
what I
yet,
wanted.
Kenny.
Okay?
Now, do I need a second on that, or do we just?
Yes, you do.
I'll second that.
Okay. So now I ask all the other commissioners if they're
If there's any objection to rescinding that
objection
motion.
to rescinding it. I've never dealt with this one before in my life. Okay, Marvin, Wayne? Well,
no.
if he made the motion
You
to,
still go with the same.
okay, Marvin? To rescind your motion?
Aye, to rescind.
Travis?
Aye.
Liza?
Aye.
Wayne?
How about I?
Gene, aye. Okay, so now we're back to
Score
the
one.
beginning, is my understanding.
You just need a motion.
So basically, I hope we're not gonna say we're gonna get back to the carcass. I hope that the motion now will be to give it to Western, is it Western Steel or Matt
Western
Clares?
Steel.
Well, it's Western Steel.
Yeah.
Cause it says from
And
Matt
the-
Clares, doesn't say.
And the
I know
que-
that, but nowhere on here does it.
the question is do you want option two, or option one, or you go with just a standard, base bid?
Base bid.
Yes.
Right. So, hearing that, I guess I would be asking for a motion to accept the Matt Claris bid of $36.64. I'm gonna stick with using the word Matt Claris, cause I don't see Western Steel written on here, even though I know it's Western Steel. It's kind of a,
Actually, Austin, his son, has kinda taken over the business.
I know
but
that too.
I do better dealing with Matt,
It's signed by
because
Matt,
I've
yeah.
known him for years.
but it's, everything on here says Matt. But we all know it's Western Steel. Do I have a motion in that regards?
Well, I guess I have a question. Is it worth, Candace, is it worth, he has an option there. Is there something, he's putting on a little extra, layer on there and I think a little extra trimmer on the outside for the wind deal, but for, we're screwing it down. Is that where we should be heading to, or they'll be fine with the standard option and we'll go from there, and if things happen, well, I guess we call them up. Oh, she's got the tarp on.
And the tires.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's gonna have to get tarped before next Tuesday, cause there's moisture coming.
okay.
So it will be done tomorrow if I can't get the shingles by then, or steel.
So I guess if you're gonna make a motion, you'd either approve the addition or not,
Yeah.
so.
Just the base.
I make, yeah, I'll make a motion, we just accept the base price of $36.64 from Western Steel.
I'll second
Do I
that.
have a second to that?
I'll second that.
Any more discussion?
I guess my discussion would be, was there any time frame that Western Steel had?
I
mean,
never really got a chance to ask him, but I will be calling him as soon as I'm out of here.
yeah, I mean, I did see the base bid and the alternate on the first one, and my concern is past experience, if it would be delayed. And I mean, it's of the essence, and that, I mean, that's why I voted the other way on the first one.
Yeah, yeah, well.
And I mean, that's all I'm gonna say.
But, yeah, I don't wanna comment on that either. Whatever, I just need a decision.
Mhm.
I guess I don't.
Any more discussion? Okay, my understanding is the motion is to accept the Matt Claris Western Steel bid of $36.64. Is that correct?
Correct.
Motion made by Wayne, seconded by Travis. No more discussion. Wayne, how do you vote?
How about I?
Travis?
Aye.
Liza?
Aye.
Marvin?
I'm gonna vote nay.
I'm gonna vote yes.
My concern was the time constraint.
Yeah. I
So
understand.
we're-
It's understood.
Matt Claris at 3,
No, the other
The
guy.
base bid at
3600,
36,
right?
yep.
Yep.
okay. All right, well, thank you, and the only other thing I'm gonna tell you is they just got done baling my steel last night finally. And sent out, 82.50 tons, and I got $3,300 for it.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Good.
Candy.
Buy a lot of tarp for that.
Yeah. So I guess the only thing, go back to Jim's asbestos, what our plan of attack is on that, how we're gonna go out for bid on that, set it up, dates, all that good stuff, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, I would say we just we need to get bids on it and see where we're at, yeah.
Mr. Chairman? I
Yes.
did make a few phone calls from the time I was in here with all the
Okay.
questions that arose and stuff. I called Badlands again, just to clarify some things. And, if you note, if you have that report there, if you note on, it'd be about page 6 or so. It says in there, the second paragraph, it's 4.0, the summary and recommendations they have. It says the EPA classifies as transite wall and ceiling panels as category 2 non-friable material. This material needs to be abated from the site, so we do need to have an abatement company take that ceiling panels out. Cause I asked him about what Jane had said, and, you know, Jane hasn't seen this report. She was just going on by what our conversation was. And he says, no, we do need to have an abatement company do that. And then I asked him about the other category 1 items. And he did tell me that there's a lot to that. Like, for example, in the auction house, those tiles are they're crumbled in powder. Those actually, you're probably gonna need, because they're in such bad shape, they're gonna have to be removed by in a regulated manner. There's regulated and non-regulated. I don't understand a lot of this stuff either, but,
Well, they're,
you know, and he said, like, for example, also, we can't just hire any contractor to do that, because the state, you have to have the proper training to remove any asbestos containing material. So he said if we have someone do the tiles, you know, there's a specific training just for that. Doesn't mean they're a certified abatement company, but they can be certified in that. So there's a whole lot to this that I'm no expert on, and probably not, no.
yeah,
Unless he goes through OSHA training. He says none of these contractors can do this without having this training. You know, you have to have a specific training for different, like the roofing, you know, the mastic, the black mastic, things like that. There's different training for each
product,
different thing on this.
yeah.
Okay. Which makes sense, because I mean, I wouldn't want somebody to have something come out of this, you know, with asbestos, you can, cancer or anything like that,
Right.
and come back on the county
Right.
and say,
Yeah.
well, you had me come in and remove it, so it's from you guys. So I think it makes sense to have somebody who's got the authority to be able to remove that and the training to remove that.
And also, you do have to have someone certified to supervise this, like you had asked that.
Yes.
Someone does have to be,
On site, right?
yeah. So, that being said, that's a little more info of what I,
Well, thank you,
I
yeah, we
appreciate you
needed that.
gathering that.
Yes.
Good. Yeah, like I was saying, you know, he said the floor is real dry. They may have to wetten that down. What they're after is dust fragments. They don't
Yeah.
want this stuff flying. They
and he
want it-
did say, you know, a non-certified company can do it as long as they use just hand tools. If you start using like power tools to,
Sure, Jack.
then you're into the regulated portion. There's so many variables in this, he said that.
You said a non-certified person could do it as long as he didn't use any power tools?
Right.
So.
You know, if you, let's say you use a chipper drill or something to peel it off, then it becomes regulated, he said, because then,
So, could I remove ceiling tile?
no,
Not using any power tools?
that one's category 2.
That one's,
4x8 sheets.
This-
It's not this.
Oh,
no, no,
The ceiling,
gotcha.
the ceiling tile is
Ceiling
the
tile
category
is-
2 one that does require.
yeah,
a
that
certified
does
person.
All
require.
right, I
according
got
to
you.
that.
I wasn't gonna, but thank you very
Oh,
much.
I hear you, Marvin.
one thing, I'm reaching back in my memory, and I know that if we send this out for bids, we need to put in there that requires a licensed abatement removal contractor. I think there's contractors locally that can do this, and
I have a whole list, the state gave me a whole list of
It's what-
contractors from Alaska to Florida, North
I think there's
Dakota,
some local
everywhere.
right in Beulah. And I'm reaching into my memory because we did abatement out at our plant. And I just don't know if it was asbestos though. I don't recall that.
No, I got
Okay,
the list
Yeah,
here.
and you can go out for bids or you can go out for quotes, cause this would, based on the order of magnitude that was reported, we could just go for quotes, correct?
Right,
So, I mean, you could do it either way. I mean, you could get quotes and then everybody could look at, if you just wanted to stay local or if you wanna open it up.
You put out, you're gonna have the cost of advertising for 2 weeks in the paper and time and everything else too.
Correct.
Yeah.
See where we're at.
Oh.
Send emails and make some phone calls.
or do you want this Badlands to just give us some contractors, or, you know, they said they'd be willing to do that too.
That would be the quoting process. So like if
Yeah,
you could ask them for potential people, you could get quotes. We don't have to do the formality because based on what they've said, we're not gonna, is it 150 or 200? 100? Okay. It's gonna be well below that.
okay,
So a quoting process would be sufficient. It's no different than what Candy just did for the roof. She's
Okay.
got some quotes. We don't have to go through the formal process of a
Right.
bid letting.
okay.
Sure.
Makes more
You don't wanna
sense.
Yeah.
just get quotes and bring them, when you can, let me know, and we'll put it back on the agenda.
Okay.
Yes.
And do you want to separate it out, or are we going to, I guess the big question, it's not going to be no dumping fees? I mean, that's probably going to be a big cost
Well,
on,
that is a big cost, right?
Yeah,
For
but
the-
that's with Candy's
Yeah.
operation. She
Right.
solely runs on landfill tipping dollars,
Yeah.
pay her salaries and
But-
benefits and
yeah.
everything, so.
But that's
keep
what,
that in mind.
but when these contractors, yeah, that's their big fee, is try to get rid of the product, because it's gotta be taken care of
And she
specially.
has to come ask for money to pay her salary, because her landfill is
Yeah.
full.
She-
because of the asbestos.
But she just sold some steel here, so she's doing good. Hang in there, Candy, we'll get you some more steel.
My suggestion would just have them bid it normally, and if we're gonna do
Yeah,
something on the
there you
tipping
go.
fees, we can do it on the backside.
Right.
Because,
Okay.
you know, we kinda have that control.
Yes.
I would rather see true and honest bids, and
Yep.
if they get it cheaper, you know, from some other landfill, I mean, that
That's
is a
right.
possibility.
That's right, you might be.
So, not that we don't wanna take care of our own, but we'll see what
So
happens.
you guys are actually gonna go for like all the, you're gonna, you remove all the asbestos stuff,
Mhm.
because technically that all could just come in a load. Cause we gotta bury it, cause I gotta keep track. of
You
where
gotta
to
keep
put it
track.
Right.
Yep.
Yep.
And everything, so that's just easier, and once that's out of there, you know, you can, you know, the county could come in with loaders or
Right.
whatever.
Right,
and
right,
load up the rest of
right.
it, bring it out and go on the other way.
Yeah, this
Right.
is just the asbestos
This is
portion,
This is just, yeah,
so that it
Yes.
frees up the building
Right,
for a better demo.
demo, yeah.
Clear as mud, Jim?
I got a feeling that your quotes are gonna be, if someone can do asbestos, they're gonna be able to do all of it, is gonna be my guess.
And they're gonna wanna see that report, and once they see the report, they'll know what they're bidding on.
yeah, because I think then too, you got to have air monitoring and all that. I don't know
Yep,
if those
yep.
companies do that, or Badlands, I know they do that, so I don't know.
Yeah, they'll be licensed, those people will be licensed. coming in.
Yeah.
Okay, with that, I would move that we authorize Jim to go out for quotes on the asbestos abatement process
For both buildings?
for both buildings.
Okay.
Second,
I'll
Well,
second.
any more discussion? Hearing none, Travis,
Aye.
Liza,
Aye.
Wayne,
Aye,
Marvin,
Aye.
Jean, aye. And we just need to get going, get some numbers, see where we're at.
Okay.
Let's just,
Service building,
pardon,
ready for that one?
which one?
Social service building. Didn't have a slash on his agenda topic.
Where do we have it
I
here?
don't see that on there.
where's that?
It's, where-
Oh. Oh,
Under Jim's?
Sure, let's do the social service
I
building.
think Shanna was in contact with Steve,
Yep,
so.
I did talk to Steve Reiser, and,
Nice.
he said it's Mercer County's choice whether or not to have staff, like, most of his staff stay home. Oh, it's his staff's choice whether they wanna come back to work or not, you know, for their health reasons during this pandemic, and they don't know when it's gonna be over. So they just need an access point. He said the conference room here would suffice, and they'll continue to use our Dropbox because nobody's been over there. People have been dropping stuff on our Dropbox. We check it and we let them know when their stuff is in there. And he said pretty much everything in that building is owned by Mercer County. There's a few old files they have to get out, but he is fine if we wanna sell it or,
So we're not under contract obligation to actually have that building.
Right, and the state, he said as long as, they can meet with a client here every now and then in the conference room, that they'd be fine.
They use the field service office too, youth bureau service sometimes too.
So, we do not need to keep it, or if we do wanna keep it, we can move other entities in there, whatever the board sees fit. At this point, Support Central doesn't care.
Can we utilize the building?
That's the building we talked about if we were gonna do remodeling stuff on it,
We'd have
so.
to do
Right,
quite a bit of
but-
remodeling, correct?
Well, yeah,
We're-
Jim,
We're still
They're
in
still
the
painting.
process of painting. It's kind of a slow process, cause it seems like we start and then something else comes up and, but we do have like the corridors, the lobby, the entryways, we got those completed now, and we're gonna start on the offices. It's, like I said, it's slow with just two of us, you know. Time we get started, then the jail needs something or this or that, and it's just, we do it when we have time, so.
so I think, Mr. Chairman, we can kind of try to put feelers out there in our entity. If they're short on office space at the time, we have space over there. And if, you know, the sheriff entity wants to move some things around, this is something we can surely look at, because as Shanna mentioned, social service they're gonna need an office someplace, either there or here. That's for today. Tomorrow, we don't know where they're going exactly neither. But just for conversation, you know, there is offices there that if we can utilize them, we're paying the fuel and electricity and everything. We need to move something over, something to look at.
That's my question, if we can utilize it, if we got a need for it, if we can. I mean, I don't wanna see just a building sit there empty for the next however long, undetermined amount of time. And we do have, maybe minimal expenses, I don't know, but there are expenses to keeping the building there.
The utilities, I was just in there with Gwen before the meeting here, and utilities last month, just with the city utilities, was $400. That doesn't include your propane heat. Then you got.
That's water, sewer, garbage, electric, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
I don't
that's the
consider
cost
that a
right
real-
there alone.
I don't consider that a real big expense for,
So the real question is it better for us to see about selling the property, if that's an option, or is it better to move things that we already have into that office, rather than have an empty office?
correct, that's my question.
There's 9 offices in that building.
Cause
My concern is if you move youth bureau in there, they deal with juveniles, you don't wanna put youth bureau and extension agency together, because you don't want the common public coming in and out of there, plus Michelle and Rachel meeting with juveniles.
True.
You know, I don't think that collaboration will work.
And they had a real concern too about just the centralization of their office right now for their clients, to have their clients actually have to drive all the way over to Stanton. I know it doesn't seem like much, but trust me, for clients that they have, it
Yeah.
actually is a huge issue for them. So I know they had expressed that concern.
Okay. I mean, basically, if we would eliminate, the discussion I heard before was basically we had 3 departments that we're leasing space from it for, and one of them is the youth bureau. If we eliminate the youth bureau, that leaves the 2 other entities. And,
And we just entered a contract with the JDA of Beulah for, I think, a minimum of either 2 to 3 years, but it was actually a 5-year contract, but we had to stay in it for X amount of
Years,
before
yep.
we get back out of it, so that one, unless we're gonna leave that building sit empty for 3 years. Buster, I mean,
Yeah, I talked to Buster.
He
I-
works minimal hours and, I don't think he needs that building with 9 offices,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but, I mean,
And it would make sense to have the sheriff's field office over there either, because the sheriff's department is already
I think
here.
we just-
So that would make sense either.
Continue to look at it and make
Yeah.
a decision down the road.
Right, I don't think we need to decide. We're not
No.
gonna
Yeah,
decide
we're not gonna
today.
decide today.
No,
We'll just
Yeah.
push this one down, cause it's not, it's not $1 million decision right now. I mean, it can be, but right now it's not. But we'll have to keep it in our,
keep the paint roller running there, Jim.
yeah.
Anything else, Jim?
Nope, that should be it.
Thanks.
Okay, are we down to other business?
Yeah.
Let's jump to number 4, and we'll come back to portfolio.
can you take up mine, please?
I think she has the mock trial.
Please,
Take yours?
the mock trial, one take off.
Okay.
Okay, I was approached by, homeschooling kind of association entity out of Rapid City. They are looking to schedule a mock trial with a schooling entity out of Minot and trying to find a location to do that. So, I don't know, word of mouth and connection, they ended up with me. And are looking to use the courtroom. Are also hoping, cause it's a center point for them, but then they could also look, go to Indian villages, do some of this stuff, make a day of it. We're looking at the last week in April, which I have court on the 28th, so it'll probably be the 29th or 30th. We don't have any trials or anything scheduled on those days. And, talked with the sheriff's office, they have no problem with it, Pam would be here, probably set up the security so they get the feel of that. Talked with Kathy, she thought it sounded, everybody's kind of excited about the idea of it. No word for sure yet if I'll get to be the judge.
That's why you want it here.
Judge Jessica.
I've been after it, yeah, no.
Bring some eggs.
So it would require minimal staff, they've got chaperones that come with, maybe roughly 30 people in total with kids and chaperones and whatnot. So, being it's a non-county event, I do need your blessing, if you'll allow us to do that.
Does it need to be an emotion?
Yeah.
Jess?
Sure.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we allow Jessica to have her mock trial in our courthouse.
Second?
I second.
Just one point of discussion. I've seen these before. In fact, I participated in those high school kids do an excellent job. It is very interesting. It's very fun. You should see them argue. It's kind of cute.
Yeah.
And it's educational. Thank you.
You gonna lock any of them up?
We'll see. If I'm the judge, we'll see.
Well, you have to if it's a mock trial. You gotta at least find one of them guilty and have them go through the whole process of.
Sometimes they elect their own judge, so.
Yeah, and they're working out those details depending on where it's gonna be and so,
Yeah. How many schools?
2.
Just 2?
Well, it's a homeschooling association.
Yeah. Usually, there's 2 different schools involved, and then they vote on jury, and they go through the, but anyhow, it's fun.
Once they hammered out the location, then they'll get that stuff.
Well, have fun.
You gotta vote on
We
it.
gotta vote on
Okay.
the motion too.
Marvin,
Hi.
Liza,
Aye.
Travis,
Aye.
Wayne,
Aye.
Jean, aye. Okay, can I leave the I want,
Yeah, now you can take over.
I want the portfolios updates for last. I always want to save that one for last, if I remember from now on. Tax financial,
Okay, as you guys are probably aware, since 2016, we don't have tax and financial software that works real well. You can't even get totals on our revenue reports on year-to-date sums. I believe we're probably from the information I have, we're probably one of the very few, if not the only county that doesn't have this in the state. It's not working properly. So, we need to get tax and financial software, and we need, that's just a given. This needs to follow our audit. It's imperative that it follows our audit as soon as possible, because we have to update all of our financial software with the information of the audit And any transactions that occurred in between have to be put in there too. So it's imperative that this follow as quickly as possible after the audit. So, I'm gonna make a motion that we set aside $400,000 for tax and financial software from our CARES money. The tax and financial, okay, that's my motion. I move we set aside money for our tax and financial software from our CARES money.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second that.
Mr. Chairman,
Okay.
for discussion.
Yeah.
We've received to date about $1,337,695 from CARES. We've dedicated $500,000 of that to the Siren project. That leaves $837,695. Tax and financial software is not cheap. And we're looking at least, I'm gonna say we're looking at about $350,000 just for the software. And there's gonna be some support required after that. But some of that support might come next year. So that's why I only put in $400,000 in my request.
And essentially, we're not approving it, we're just setting this aside.
Just setting it aside, yes.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I'm wondering where this $400,000 is that Marvin's proposing.
It's in our CARES money.
We don't have a CARES fund.
Okay.
We have money that we received from the state as CARES money. It's called Corona Relief Fund. We've received to date from the state treasurer $1,337,695.
That's in our general budget now, though.
Yeah, it's in our general fund right now, so.
Well, it can, not all of it better be in the general fund because you dedicated $500,000 to the Siren project.
Right,
And
but you
that's
don't wanna
still-
take the 400 from the 500 that we set aside.
No, we're not gonna take it from there. It's gonna come out of the general, I said, my motion said the CARES money. I did not say which fund it came out of. It would have to come out of the CARES money that is in the general fund.
But it's not set aside anywhere in the general fund at this point, is what I'm trying to.
Right.
That's why I made the motion.
It would be 400,000 out of the general fund,
Yep.
basically.
Yes. My
With
motion,
this,
yep.
should we not have this as a item on our next, budget?
Exactly.
That it would get, put in, because whatever software we get, if we change software, the company that does it, they will have to, bid, I'm not even there, I'm talking about the information itself. They would be the ones who would
Download.
enter all the information in the software, the financial information.
No, they don't.
I get tasked with that job.
Really?
Our county has that
But-
information, yes.
And
Go ahead.
there would still be assistance there to do it, from the ones I've talked to.
Well, when we did this in 16, it was, the brunt of it went on my department. The treasurer's department, they actually had programs written to do their portion for them, but my office, it was my department, Cindy and Juan and I that pounded away at that.
Yeah, they would
There's
They would
very
still
little-
provide some technical support on it, though.
Well, see, the way our software program is now, the AS400, it's hard to transfer numbers from that software into an Excel or internet-based program. So that's why there is a lot of manual entry and checking, double checking, and triple checking numbers. So it is quite the process. But I feel that this is a budget discussion, not a March discussion. This is a big.
Because when is the audit actually gonna take place, and when do we end up with a report on our audit?
It won't be until the end of the year.
We don't know that. It could be in August.
Right, it could
We
be.
would've went with Rackemeyer, it would've been this month.
Yeah, we went with another company. Mr. Chairman,
So,
Mr. Chairman,
yes,
I will stress again, it's imperative that this follow the audit as soon as possible. It cannot wait for the budget discussion and be done next year. The monies will be gone. We have CARES money that's set aside for any additional expenses that your county has, so we don't have to raise taxes. That's what CARES money was set for. It was not meant to supplement the general fund. It was made for any expenditures that the county has to face, so they don't have to raise taxes. So that's what CARES is for. That's why I want it set aside. I don't want the money to go away. We cannot wait for the budget season.
Mr. Chairman.
This work needs to be
Yes.
done now.
I feel that this board, not all of you that sit on it, has for the last several years made departments cut. Unless it's on somebody, one commissioner's agenda to get things done, then it's okay to spend outside of the budget. I do not feel this is right, and I do not feel it's right or fair to any other department. We don't know what's coming up in this budget season. We don't know what needs are in other departments. So I think it's fair that this waits until budget time so we can look at it all together at the same time and look at everybody's requests at the same time. Instead of going and approving to spend nearly $500,000 that's not in the budget.
Mr. Chairman, the CARES money that was put in the general fund was not part of the budget. That was added after the fact. That is not budget money. The budget should support itself. It should not have to be supplemented by other funds. If we're not levying enough taxes to pay our budget, we can't continue to supplement it by other funds. It needs to be self-supporting. The CARES money was not part of the budget. We have $837,000 left of that, and my motion is to set aside $400,000 of that for financial software, which needs to be done immediately following the audit.
Any other discussion? Hearing none. Marvin, how do you vote?
Aye.
Travis?
Aye.
Liza?
Nay.
Wayne?
Nay.
Jean, nay. Okay, portfolio updates. Well, we'll start with Wayne.
Okay, I don't have a whole lot. We did, again, we had airport meeting. We're still working funding on the runway over there. And like I said, the weed board, we had put out bids for chemicals, so that'll be coming, say, this coming month, I believe. And we had social service. There's really not a whole lot of change there that I'm aware of. And so I guess that's my report.
Liza?
For the ambulance board, unfortunately, I was unable to make the meeting this last week, but I do have a LEPC meeting tomorrow that I will be attending.
Travis?
So where's that at?
My
Were you done?
portfolio.
Oh, sorry, were you done, Liza?
No, he's, yeah, she's done.
Travis says she's-
Fair Board and Water Resource Board meet next week, so I won't have a report until the next meeting.
Okay, Marvin?
I just met with the road department yesterday, and we talked about the 5-year plan that they've got, and we looked at some numbers, and that's all I have to report.
Okay, yeah, mine is very short. Mercer County Economic Development, I was there. There was a lot of discussion about thoughts for the future. Other than that, there was no real, real motions of anything, so. And that's all I have. Is there anything else for the good of the meeting? Hearing none, motion, meeting adjourned.
Thank you.